Hey, I'm going to start a live feed to just talk about that awesome premiere, and that was really good. And in just a sec, I'm going to see actually what the metrics were for the first 90 minutes of the show first.
Okay, I'll start in here too.
Okay, just
hold like this right here.
well, you can, or you can put it up here with a jar.
Okay. Well, I can do that too.
Just hang tight.
Hi guys. Okay, I'll start this.
Yeah. Come on up for a minute, honey, and show your beautiful face, and just talk with me for a second.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Okay, that one zoomed in too much. Can you
This one?
zoom it out? The one on the right.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I want kind of the 1 million views to show.
That one only.
Hey, come right to my side here, honey. What a beautiful woman. Hey, you're wearing the same color as the Bigfoot. Well, we really want to thank you guys. That was a tremendous. It's still zoomed in too much, honey. It cuts off my head. Well, I'll just leave it, I guess. Well, we really want to thank everybody. That was a tremendous premiere we had for the incredible Bigfoot documentary 5. There was over 157 people that attended the premiere, and there was our top amount of people that we saw. I saw 30. What did you see?
I think it was 31.
31? All right. Give me 5, babe. And I think and the cool thing is the lowest that I saw ever watching the, I think it was 99 minutes or something, the whole show. The lowest that I saw was 18 is what I saw as the lowest. And it only dipped there a time or two. Usually even the lows were about 21. So I think the average number of people watching for the whole 99 minutes was 25 people. So that's pretty good. And yeah, there was just a ton of comments in the chat. And I would especially like to thank everybody that tuned in for the premiere. Now, if you haven't seen the show yet, go to James Willow's YouTube and click on Incredible Bigfoot Documentary 5. So, honey, what do you think was your favorite part of this new show?
Well, the part is the one we thought that we saw something.
She liked the part where, toward the end, we are on a Bigfoot drive on probably the road in America where you are most likely to see a Bigfoot. And at dusk, which is a great time because Bigfoot are a good deal nocturnal. And all of a sudden we go by, and what did you see? Tell them what you saw.
Well, I thought I saw some cougar or kind of big black cat or something. But so when I saw it, because when James was driving and the dog was kind of trying to get in front of James' car, so it's like, oh my gosh, what are those? Those are big animals or something. Have a green eyes or something.
She was sure it was a jaguar. You know, Mary sees things in Glacier Park that nobody else sees. One time we were driving up there and she said, James, I just saw a monkey. It was probably a baby bear cub. But being from the Philippines, you know, your frame of reference is different. And yeah, so Mary says, I just saw, I think it was a jaguar. And so we turned around and go back there, and it's really kind of spooky because it's kind of a spooky time of night. And to see something as mysterious as a jaguar with big green eyes, and that big green eyes, we're thinking, what the heck is that? And we drive back there, and we're driving along, and all of a sudden, there it comes out again, and it's this slender black dog that's about 40 pounds that has green eyes, and it's the spookiest thing. It's almost spookier than a black jaguar. And then we cracked up laughing. Oh, we thought it was a jaguar. And we said we didn't see a guy in a Bigfoot suit, but we sure did see a dog pretending to be a jaguar. We had a good laugh, and DJ had a fun time too. Maybe you better go get DJ and come stand in front of the Bigfoot. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the journey to 1 million Bigfoot content views, which if you include all my shows on YouTube, it's about 1 million. And you know, I had a pretty good TikTok thing going, but Montana outlawed TikTok, and I don't like to do stuff that's edgy, so I don't do TikTok anymore. But I had views there, and also views on, I have almost 5,000 followers on Facebook as well. And so I had quite a few views on Facebook and Instagram too. But for an unknown guy to just start a YouTube channel and get 1 million views, I looked at our metrics as a channel yesterday, and I was just blown away. Hi, DJ. You can come right in front where people will see you. Right there. Yeah, that's good.
There.
Oh yeah, there. Yeah, sit down.
There's
that's
DJ.
great. And I was blown away. In the first 20 days of December, we had 370,000 views from 300 countries. We had 158 views from Israel. Our top countries are USA, then Canada, then the UK, and then places like Australia, Russia, Ukraine. We had people watching this YouTube premiere of the Bigfoot show from all over the world. Many people from Nigeria. We had people from Uganda. We had people from the Netherlands. We had people from Montana. And it was really, really awesome. But I also looked, well, what's our top cities? And you look, and the top city, I think, the top city is Chicago. And then after that, there's a lot of the big cities in America are the top cities, places like LA, places like Austin, places like, thank you for all the you that helped me get this channel off the ground in Austin. And pretty much all the big cities in America are tuning in. And I think, isn't this amazing that a guy from Hungry Horse, Montana started with a Bigfoot show, and now there is 370,000 views from all around the world in just 20 days. That's amazing. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. It's pretty amazing how fast this YouTube channel is now growing. I believe in the fall, YouTube told me that we had grown at a rate of 360% in 1 month. And we're really in a growth curve right now in December too. And so, hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm having a live feed. We just had the premiere of my 5th Bigfoot movie, and it was really well attended, so I'm doing a little talk here.
That's awesome.
And so I was talking before the show about the journey to 1 million views, how I was extremely skeptical about Bigfoot, how I had an experience myself that I could never explain until somebody later told me that in that part of the Flathead River their crazy girlfriend had been seeing Bigfoot. And so that was all pretty cool. And then my hunting buddy Al Moran had said he and his wife Debbie saw one on the Meadow Lake golf course in the 90s. And I knew Al wouldn't lie to me, so I knew it was probably a true thing at that point. I came out of my severe skepticism and started interviewing people that said they had a Bigfoot encounter. I put out my first show, The Incredible Bigfoot 1. In that one, I talk in detail about my own encounter, if you ever want to know what happened to me on a spooky island south of Kalispell on a 3-day canoe trip. And then that show was a hit. I was a nobody. Nobody knew of James Willows on YouTube. Nobody cared or knew about me. I had about 30 subscribers, and I put out this show, The Incredible Bigfoot Documentary 1. And it was a hit. People loved it. It got like 70,000 views in 3 or 4 weeks. It's so exciting when a show hits the algorithm. 3 of my shows have hit the algorithm. Incredible 1 hit it, see ya. Incredible 2 hit it, and Incredible 3 just knocked it out of the park. Incredible 3, I had this interview with a gal named Renee that has what many think, and I think is probably the best close-up Bigfoot facial picture of anybody ever. And so I put that out on Incredible 3, and it got over 300,000 views in a week. It was enough views that the first month I got a check from YouTube for $1,827. And the next month was good too, like $700 or $800. And so I went down, I'd been doing all my YouTubing in this old Nissan Maxima, 2003 Maxima we were four-wheeling and doing stuff with. And so I went down and I got a brand spanking new Toyota RAV that's lifted with big tires, and the license plate says YouTube. And YouTube paid for the down payment through that, really mostly just that one show, Incredible Bigfoot 3. It's awesome, you really ought to go see it sometime. And anyway, so the first show was a hit, and I needed 1,000 subscribers, so I begged, borrowed, and bribed, and did this amazing campaign to get 1,000 subscribers. For me, it was a grassroots thing where I'd go play music in a park and get 3 subscribers a day. Finally, I hit 1,000, and I was off and running. It's hard to get monetized if you're an unknown nobody, but I had the advantage of a lot of views. So anyway, the first Bigfoot show was a hit. And then there was kind of a lot of pressure on me from a lot of places to keep doing Bigfoot shows. But I'm a guy, I can only sell something if I believe in it myself. You know, that's partly why I do so well in this huckleberry business, is I love huckleberries. I think they're the most healthy berry that's 10 times better than any other berry. So it's real easy for me to be gung-ho about huckleberries, but I can't do hype. I'm not going to do hype. And there was pressure from a lot of places for me to keep doing Bigfoot shows. But you know, I've seen some of these Bigfoot shows, like on some of the big platforms. I won't name any names, but where they're under the gun, under the producer's deadline to produce another Bigfoot show. And inevitably, it seems like it gets into hype and just spooky music, and Bubba with his big eyes and the spooky music. Oh, we think we hear the whip, a whoop. My stuff, you don't need to think you hear a whoop. I have a Bigfoot screaming, perfect recording on Vancouver Island. Nobody else has that stuff. It's just big eyes and spooky music. And in this last show, I have another recording of that, in 300 miles away on the Yakama Indian Reservation, of a Bigfoot screaming and came right up to the window of these 4 terrified kids. And you can really tell that it's the same species, because the cavern, the projection, the sound is the same. if you're a scientist and you're looking for empirical proof of Bigfoot, look no farther than James Willow's YouTube. That alone is an amazing empirical proof that would probably stand up in court. 44 people, credible people, pastors, military, officers, lab techs, insurance adjusters, I have interviewed now that said they saw Bigfoot with their own eyes. And some of them, even myself, in the back of my mind, I kind of wondered and thought, is that one really true? I don't know. I don't know for sure if all 44 are true. I have no way of knowing. But I'd bet any amount of money that some of them are true. This last show, we had a gal who works for a university here in Montana almost come close to hitting one on Home State Pass. And it is the most authentic interview. Another guy I had, a guy I've come to know and love, a guy named Bruce, that's a farmer in the northwest corner of Nebraska. He had an interview, I had an interview with him that is so rock solid, and he's like a deacon in his church and just a super solid guy that owns hundreds of acres. And when he came by, he comes by every year. When he came by one of these last years, I said, well, do you still stand by that Bigfoot testimony that you gave me? And he said, what did he say? He said, I don't have to stand by it, it's true. When you saw it with your own eyes, you don't doubt. And you know, that was a kind of a creepy one, because the Bigfoot was also banging on the house of his brother. And I said, was your brother terrified? And he said, nah, we're farmers. We all got double-barreled shotguns. But yeah, the Bigfoot was banging on the house of his single brother's little abode there in Nebraska. But anyway, let me get back to my point, the journey to 1 million Bigfoot content views. So I was under a lot of pressure. I wouldn't say YouTube pressured me, but people wanted more Bigfoot content. But I'm not a guy that can do hype. Okay, I got to make another Bigfoot show. Let's see what kind of crazy stuff can I drum up this time. And be like a lot of the other Bigfoot channels that are concentrating on ATVs going up streams and expensive boats going to islands in Alaska where they set up cameras that nobody ever seems to see anything but the apple with the peanut butter, it was gone. And I just didn't want to do hype. I'm just an honest guy. I'm maybe too honest for my own good. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I was in bed with this girl, and she was a cute girl that was good in bed. And she said, buddy, do you love me? And I thought, what am I going to say to this? And I said, I'm thinking in my head, man, we're just working on our night moves. I told her, I don't really know what love is, but I like you an awful lot. Needless to say, that ended our relationship. But I just can't lie. I'm not a guy who's good at lying. I'd rather just shoot straight than come up with some fakey Bigfoot movies. So I did other stuff, you know, I'm kind of ADD, I've got about 16 interests. I did all kinds of stuff. Mountain climbing videos, rodeo stuff. One of the coolest videos is one of my real popular ones is a video of the Indian relay race where I just happened to have my really expensive camera right on the lead guy that almost killed himself, and I got the whole thing on video. So a lot of people, they kind of like that bloody stuff. If it bleeds, it leads. I got that from the Nightcrawler, that Jake Gyllenhaal show. Anyway, but as other people, the first show was a hit, so some people started coming here to Huckland and said, man, I had a story too, and I want to tell you because you seem like a straight shooting type of guy. So I eventually got some more stories put together. Oh, just back up a little bit. One cool thing in the Incredible Bigfoot 1 is we're doing this recon up in where the gal saw it in this burn, and we see this giant grizzly track. And for some reason, I told my buddy, I want you to film me going down this. I'm a fast runner. I was called the fastest man in the whole adult softball league. And so I book it down this burn at almost at like 70% speed. And when I produce the show, when we see the grizzly track, I have this great big grizzly going, "Arr!" and me running like crazy away from it. It's a fun show. It's got some beautiful scenery of us canoeing across Lake McDonald to do this recon. And that show was really popular among kids. I had somebody write me and say, you know, my 4-year-old, every morning he demands that we turn on Incredible Bigfoot 1, and he watches the whole thing. So it was a hit with kids, and that was pretty dang cool. So then I finally get enough for Incredible Bigfoot 2. And the coolest thing I had in Incredible Bigfoot 2 is I was thinking to myself, I don't care how elusive they are. These guys that do helicopter logging, I was thinking, or are in the woods with their helicopters even fighting fires, these guys have got to see them sometime. And I had a guy came in and said, my buddy from my buddy that works on the West Coast had 2 Bigfoot sightings and encounters. He's a guy that does helicopter logging with his big Huey helicopter. And so we got the guy on the phone, and he told about seeing this Bigfoot come across a clearing in Vancouver Island where he saw it for 400 or 500 yards come across this clearing. And he told another great story about when they were in this cabin and they had a lot of Bigfoot activity and even got scared. And he also got the casts of all those prints. So that was Incredible Bigfoot 2. And there's some other really cool things in Incredible Bigfoot 2. But the part that I liked, I was up at beautiful Avalanche Lake, and I didn't even know this, but I've since heard that there has been 2 Bigfoot sighted at Avalanche Lake. The last interview on Incredible Bigfoot 5, the gal was a ranger there for 10 years, and she tells about it. But anyway, I was up there, my baby and I went for a hike, and I just thought, I set up my camera and I did one of my runs again. I just sprint along the Avalanche Lake, and for some reason, I don't know why I do this. I just like to run, man. My son Abe, he was D1 running back who played for the Penn Quakers, and he ran the 40 in 4.46, I think was his fastest time. And I'm pretty fast, so I like to run. And sure enough, I ran along the coast there. And when it came to producing Incredible Bigfoot 2, what I did was I had a CGI Bigfoot created by this guy in England, so the Bigfoot's chasing me while I run away from it along beautiful Avalanche Lake to begin the show. And it was really kind of fun. Let me raise this up just a tad. I feel like I'm slouching. And that show also hit the algorithm and went bonkers for a while. It's so exciting for a YouTuber when a show hits the algorithm because, you know, we plug away. I've made like 2,200 videos. I'd make videos even if nobody watched them. I like making videos. So but when a show hits the algorithm, you know, on a normal show, you know, you'll maybe get 100 views. I had a really cool show I put out just 2 days ago about my buddy who had to shoot a grizzly bear that was charging him. And it got 360 views already in 2 days. That's really good for me. For the par that I bat at, that's really good. But anyway, a lot of us YouTubers plug around, making videos, making about 20 cents an hour for making all these videos and editing them. But man, when something hits the algorithm, it is so exciting. You look and think, my video got 15,000 views today. With Incredible Bigfoot 3, I'd look and I'd say, oh my God, it broke 300,000 views in a week. And at times like that, you're really a rock star. It's like you've got people chiming in from all over the world. Hey, I loved your video from Switzerland. I loved your video from Micronesia. But what meant most to me, I think, in my whole career as a YouTuber, is on that video, I had a guy from Siberia. I can't remember, his name might have been Alex or something, and he said, hey, this is Alex from Siberia, and I want you to know that I came to your YouTube channel because of Bigfoot, but I came to Christ because of your YouTube channel. Now, actually, a lot of times I lose subscribers when I do my Sunday service, when I'm sharing the Word of God, because some people want more Bigfoot stuff, and some people want just football and UFC, and I like all that stuff, but I also, share the Word on Sundays, and sometimes people don't like it. It's probably hindered my growth, but to have somebody from Siberia say they came to Christ because of what I'm doing, that meant the world to me. And I know I've had a lot of other people. Just a few weeks ago, I had somebody watching a Thursday night service that said, I really needed this from São Paulo, Brazil. And, I used to work really hard as a carpenter to save money, to go to a nation and talk to 300 people in a crusade about Christ. But now I'm really reaching the whole world. And I'm not a preachy guy. Before I was a Christian, I never liked preachy guys. So I'm not that way, but I do come on and share the Word of God and my Christian music at times. And some people like it. I've always believed in shining the light like a sprinkler rather than a fire hose. And that's what I do on my channel. But I do believe that I am about to start a Bigfoot only channel, just because the algorithm, you could substitute the word audience. The algorithm is really just your audience. And if you got one that knocks it out of the park, well, your audience likes it. And I've noticed that my audience likes Bigfoot, but since I'm not a Bigfoot only channel and I don't just make a show to hype it up, and some people might say, well, James, you just did Bigfoot to get on the YouTube, and on the exactly the opposite, man. If I wanted to run with the hype that I had after Incredible Bigfoot 3, I could have put out a few more Bigfoot shows and been an international celebrity, because the channel was rocking. And when I didn't, a lot of people didn't like it and kind of gave me the thumbs down. But hey, I got to be real. I got to be honest. I can only excel if I am real and if I'm honest. That's why I got all this stuff on my Bigfoot channel, because it's wait, because people get to know about me. They come here, they tell me their testimony. I get some more good testimonies together, and when I've got what I feel is enough for a show, feature-length show, I put it out. And that's what I did with Incredible 3. But with Incredible 3, I had this gal named Renee that came in, and she was telling about several Bigfoot encounters that she had. And she said in Colorado, we were taking some family videos, and look what was in the video that we didn't really realize was there. And she showed me this amazing video of a Bigfoot kind of coming out of a tree, and it almost looked like it emerged from the tree like a tree spirit or something, and coming out of the tree, and then you can see the crystal clear image of the face. And this gal Renee, a wonderful person, but I could tell she wasn't a person that had the kind of money it would take to create that with CGI, because it would take a Lord of the Rings caliber CGI team to create something like that, because it was realistic, man. And the Bigfoot's nose looked like Gandalf's nose, and so much character in that face. And when I released that, it became a huge hit. In that first week or two, it became a huge hit. And Renee, if you're out there, thank you for sharing that. We really appreciate you, and so many people appreciated you sharing that. But a really strange thing happened with that show, in that I was interviewing Leilani Upham right in that booth right there with the camera faced out toward across the way here. And people said, hey, did you see that a minute or at an hour and 6 minutes or whatever the time signature was? There's a bear tooling around in the woods across from your huckleberry land while you're interviewing Leilani. And we checked it out, and sure enough, you could see this big bear tooling around out there. Now, I've never seen a bear tooling around out there. It could happen. Maybe it did happen. But Leilani's a pretty powerful Blackfeet woman. I think it could have been her spirit animal. They call it a manitou in the Indian language, that when you do your vision quest, you get a spirit animal. My blood brother, Al Moran, his spirit animal was a coyote. And last fall we went hunting, and we saw a bunch of coyotes, but no deer. And that was the last time I would ever hunt with Al. He's with the Lord now. But anyway, it was really cool, and people thought it was so cool, and you can see it to this day on Incredible Bigfoot 3. There's even people that have commented where it's at. I can't remember exactly. I need a drink. Hey, thanks for those of you who have tuned in. Kathy Finberg, God bless you. I'm just going to keep going. We just had an awesome premiere of Incredible Bigfoot 5. 157 people watched it. There was usually about 25 watching it at any given moment, and it was awesome. So I'm reflecting a little. I'm just giving thanks. I'm the leper that came back and is saying thank you. So Incredible 3 just went worldwide, and you know, with 330,000 views or something in the first month, it was a viral YouTube hit. It was right up there with the History Channel and other stuff on Bigfoot content for views for the month. Now, I think my stuff is a lot better than a lot of those shows. A lot of those shows that have 1 million views, they have like 3 people giving a testimony in a show. I'll have like 10 people giving their testimony in a show, because I've got a really unique platform. People come to Huckleberry Land, they know me from YouTube on Bigfoot, and they want to share their stories. So it's people from all over the country coming here and sharing their story with me. And also, I've had hundreds, if not thousands, of people pick huckleberries for me, and probably buy from about 200 people a year. And these huckleberry pickers are out in these woods 24/7 in the deepest regions of these woods, and they are an incredible source also. They share with me their Bigfoot encounters. We have more Bigfoot in Montana than anybody realizes. I have had 12 Bigfoot interviews in Montana, 2 or 3 great ones just in this last movie. And so anyway, Incredible 3 was just a viral hit, and it was so exciting. And if I had been a scammy kind of guy, I would have just run with the Bigfoot ball and produced some more Bigfoot shows, even if I had to get into hype, and continued that amazing wave that I was riding. But you know, I just can't do that. I just did my thing and shared whatever I was interested in until another group of testimonies emerged, which they did, and I released Incredible Bigfoot 4. Now, one of the cool things that happened for Incredible Bigfoot 4, got some of the greatest testimonies on that one of any of the shows, but somebody ran into my business here with their big kind of travel van. And I said, "Oh man, what happened?" And they said, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." And I look and I say, "Hiram, what are you doing, bro? Hey, good to see you." There's this guy I'm a friend with named Hiram Upham from the reservation. And so Pastor Hiram came in and we had a nice visit, and I was telling him, "Hey, people been telling me that you have this video of like the Bigfoot remains of a Bigfoot leg that you guys found." And he said, "Yeah, I do." And so I interviewed Hiram about that whole episode of how they saw a Bigfoot family go by his window there in Browning. And then after a week or two, their dog dragged up a juvenile's leg that some wolves had killed. They saw wolves coming after the Bigfoot, and the wolves killed one. And so they took the leg and they said, "Man, this is not a human leg. This is not a monkey or an ape leg. This is something different." And they took it to the Fish and Game and wanted it analyzed. And the Fish and Game never got back to them with even a peep. Every time there's a Bigfoot thing happen, the authorities cover it up. Because if it was disclosed or found to be true that there was a Bigfoot in this Seeley Lake region, logging would shut down in that region. And so it's always hush hush. I played on the same team with a guy named Jake that owns a logging business, and I asked him, "Jake, have you ever seen a Bigfoot? You've been logging since you was little?" He said, "No, but one of my sawyers, that's an incredibly trustworthy guy, saw a whole family of them out in Lincoln, Montana." And but the reality is, a Bigfoot discovered in a region would make the spotted owl look like pancakes, because it would shut down logging and it would be a huge controversy. So that's why it's always hush hush where the government is concerned. But anyway, Pastor Hiram gave me that interview and the right to use that footage. So in Incredible Bigfoot 4, there is actually footage of a juvenile Bigfoot leg that the dog dragged in, because then the dog dragged in the second leg. And Hiram thought, "Man, we're not giving this one to the authorities. We're going to let people know about this." So they made a video, and his daughter, Leilani, she has a Bigfoot channel called Pukuni Bigfoot Storytellers. Baguni, it's pronounced Baguni, but it's Pukuni is how you say it. Check it out, it's good. But hi guys, how you doing? How are y'all guys doing? Hi.
Good, how you doing?
We just had the premiere of my 5th Bigfoot movie, and it was really super cool and well attended. And now I'm doing a little live talk called The Journey to 1 Million Bigfoot Content Views. I've had 1 million views on YouTube about Bigfoot stuff.
Nice.
I'm just telling people about it.
Appreciate it.
So that show was really good, but a kind of creepy element emerged in that show, where a Blackfeet guy told me the story that in the early part of this last century, a big Bigfoot-like creature came out of the forest in the Heart Butte area and killed 2 elderly tribe members that were in a teepee on a wood gathering thing. And then the Blackfeet gathered a bunch of posse and went out there and killed the beast and put it on a huge pile of the firewood they had been gathering. and cremated it. And so another guy from the Blackfeet tribe came in and he said, yeah, that's a true story. I also have heard that story, and it's sure enough true. And he's in that same video. So I marketed that video as Bigfoot kills 2 Blackfeet tribe members. And I found that people just didn't buy into it. People want Bigfoot to be a friendly, nice guy that is there when everybody else fails them. They don't want to hear about a Bigfoot killing somebody. And yet, the guys who told me said they never actually heard for sure it was a Bigfoot. They knew it was not a bear, they knew it was not anything that recognizable, but it wasn't necessarily a Bigfoot. Now, in most of my encounters and in my years of researching Bigfoot, I have found that for the most part, they are live and let live, let us alone, and we'll leave you alone type of creatures. There have been a couple scary stories I've had, but not many. So people didn't really buy into that incredible Bigfoot 4, even though I thought it was one of my best shows. Geez, everybody says, well, I might believe if they had some evidence, there's got to be some bones, there's got to be some evidence. Well, I bring it to them. And yet that show was not very popular because I initially marketed it as the Bigfoot kills these 2 Indians. And so I repackaged it and put a picture of myself and put something like undeniable evidence on the thumbnail, and re-released it, but it never really took off. And I was kind of freaking out because my previous 3 Bigfoot shows had all hit the algorithm and gone really great. So I'll be honest with you, what I did, and it's the first time I've ever done this, is I bought some views. There are places where you can buy views if you want to look cool and you're really not. So I found one that's pretty good called Thunderclap It in India. You can buy views cheap from Thunderclap It. You can even buy comments. The comments are kind of funny. Oh, that was so amazing. And then three minutes later, the same person says, oh, that was so amazing. And then they say the same, oh, that was so amazing. They're so corny. But if you're desperate like I was, you can buy views. And I bought some views from Thunderclap It. I bought some views from a place called Use Viral that is such a scam. They say they're going to give you real high quality views from America, and all these people comment on it in a foreign language. Don't ever use them, it's a scam. And I tried even promoting it with YouTube itself, which was like flushing money down the toilet. So that's the first time I ever bought views. And what did I learn from that? I learned that it really doesn't help you out at the end of the day. Yeah, it might say that your video has 70,000 views or whatever, but at the end of the day, it doesn't help it, because what you need for YouTube, for your video to go international, what you need is your audience to think it's great. So what I always concentrate on is making great videos. And yeah, at the beginning of a video, you gotta get your friends to view it from the beginning to the end. I'm so thankful that I had probably 40 friends around the world, especially Samuel O'Deely, my graphic designer, rounded up some people, and that viewed it. Because if a video gets a lot of views from long views, like from the beginning to the end or from the beginning to halfway through, the algorithm thinks, oh man, people really like this. that's my Incredible 3 was so popular, as I said, I have the greatest picture ever, and it's going to come later in the show, and I never told him when, so I kept him waiting for like an hour before I showed him this amazing picture. And it was a great little tactic that got me long views, and that's why the algorithm picked that one up so well. But having said that, if you could please watch Incredible Bigfoot 5 from beginning to end, even if you got to wrap presents or do the dishes while it's going on, have it going from beginning to end. It'll help me on the algorithm, and I think this one has a real good chance of hitting the algorithm too. But Incredible 4 didn't, so I was a little desperate and bought some views. Thanks for dropping in, guys. So anyway, bringing this up to the present day, I like a lot of different stuff. People say I'm a good football commentator. If there's one thing I know, it's football, because I've been watching it since I was 4. I played quarterback myself. I was a regional winner in this area in punt, pass, and kick. Got to go compete at the next level in Missoula. I know football. My son Abe was a big star, played for 17 seasons, and so I do football shorts and football commentary. My biggest show this last month was the whole game of South Lake Carroll and Westlake. It's a full show. So I'm really stoked at how well this show was received. My personal favorite part of it, Incredible 5, is the scientific evidence, because even with all these, I got to tell you one more thing. After Incredible 3, there was this guy that said, "Hi, I'm so and such from Oregon, and I really like the way you present material, so I'm going to allow you to present my story." He said, "I was a guy that was in charge of opening up new logging areas in Oregon. I think he might have worked for the BLM. And I would go in and meet with the surveyor, and they would begin surveying these remote areas that there weren't even any roads in. And he and the surveyor, or maybe just him, was up there starting to get this parcel figured out. And a Bigfoot came out of the woods, reached in his white service vehicle, pulled out a sack of oranges, and stood there by the truck eating them without peeling them. And there was a lot of tracks. It was a well-documented thing. They plaster casted the tracks, 19 tracks, and sent them to various universities. And one of them, for years, stayed in the headquarters there at some town in Oregon, I think it was BLM. But the boss gathered them all together and said, "Listen, we all know what happened. We all know that it was real. But if you talk about it, you're going to get fired." So for years, this guy could not talk about it. But when he saw Incredible 3, he contacted me and let me share his whole story. Now, if Bigfoot wasn't real, why would that have happened? It would never have happened. Bigfoot is real. This guy had the plaster casts. One is possibly still hanging there, and was going to get fired if he talked about it, because obviously, look, it's a logging bid. The logging company is going to get shut down if they know there's a Bigfoot living there. And so he came out, and it's on my show under Orange Stealing Bigfoot of Baker Creek. That's Orange Stealing Bigfoot of Baker Creek, and it's a super cool show. You know, the guy is retired. He's probably up there in years. He didn't want his face on the camera, but he let me share the entire story from him as he told it. So anyway, up to this present time, the thing that I personally like the most, because although I know it's real, or I wouldn't be doing these shows, there's still in the back of my mind My wife asked me, "Are you 100% sure it's real?" And sometimes I joke, "Well, I'm 100% sure that the Bigfoot stuff in our store sells good." And I'm just joking when I say that, but it's true, it does sell good. But I'm not doing this because I want to sell stuff. But having said that, you should come by and see the amazing Bigfoot stuff we do have at our store. But no, I tell her, no, in all honesty, I'm 99% sure this is a real thing, or I wouldn't be doing this. But, you know, I haven't seen one with my own eyes. There's still, you know, a trace of doubt. But this last evidence in this last Bigfoot 5 show really convinced me almost as much as seeing one with my own eyes, because I had this super rock solid guy named Steve, a high school teacher who came in from Vancouver and shared this amazing audio clip of the Bigfoot screaming in the hills of Vancouver. It was so authentic that when he took it to the radio station, the manager, he turned white and he said, "I heard it too, isn't that creepy?" And they played it on that Vancouver radio station. You got to check it out. I'm pretty sure it's in Incredible 4. And anyway, so I'm here at my store, and this cool gal named Kenna Jean comes in from the Yakama Indian Reservation. She does the marketing for a big casino there, and she's a good photographer. And she told me this amazing story of how a Bigfoot came right up to the house when they had the 3 or 4 kids in there babysitting each other, and the kids heard the Bigfoot screaming, and they got the audio recording. You can see it, it's on Incredible 5, and they're saying, "Did you hear that?" You look like they're about all ready to crap their pants. And the Bigfoot actually came up, and you can see this huge track that came up right to the window and looked in. It was the creepiest story. But the scream, I analyzed it, and well, I didn't analyze it. I heard it one time, and I realized it's the same exact creature as Steve brought me the scream from Vancouver. It doesn't take a scientist to listen to the 2 clips and realize, wow, that's definitely the same creature. It's not probably the same individual Bigfoot, but it's the same species. And to me, that was very convincing, very empirical, very scientific, and it should resonate throughout the Bigfoot community as a real authentic proof of Bigfoot's existence. So I just wanted to reflect a little and share a little from my heart about the journey to 1 million Bigfoot content views on YouTube. And mostly I want to thank all the people who have come forward in these interviews. I had a gal and her daughter from Maine come in, and when they saw my stuff, that I'd interviewed all these people and that I'm a guy that has my head attached and not a flaky guy, I own this big business and operate it, they thought, "We're going to tell you something we've never told anybody." This gal was married to a police officer, and they were in a summer ski resort, in a ski resort in Utah in the summertime, where you just ride up the lift and you come on back as a tourist. And they saw very clearly a big old Bigfoot on the slopes in Utah. I've had several from Utah. It's a pretty hot Bigfoot state. And the first thing they did when they saw it is look at each other and say, "As long as we live, we got to promise never to tell this to anybody." And because, you know, she's married to a police officer. Can you just imagine the flack he might get if his wife told that she'd seen a Bigfoot? So they went ahead and told me the story, and it's on, I can't remember which one of my incredible Bigfoot. What's really fun is to watch them all as a marathon, like some people watch Shark Week for a week, or some people watch the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy, or the whole Star Wars set on a Christmas vacation or whatever. Watch all of them from start to finish and take notes of the similarities. It'll convince you, man. I've had a lot of people that said, you know, we thought Bigfoot was just something people make up or whatever, but we believe after watching you. So many people, even my cousin Rachel, said that. So anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, there was this incident in a little town in Idaho, the name's escaping, Potlatch, Idaho, where the wife of the sheriff, you know, sheriff's a political position, you gotta run, you gotta campaign, you gotta get voted on. The wife of the sheriff was driving to work or whatever, and she saw a Bigfoot come out chasing this deer from the shoulder, and then by the time she went by it, it was in a rear view mirror, and she continued to watch the Bigfoot chasing a deer in her rear view mirror, and kind of lost track of what was going on, and a deer jumped, and I think it got her took her window out, and she had to tell the officer, hey, I was watching this Bigfoot chase a deer. I'm sorry, I got my eyes off the road. And it went viral. It went on the, what do they call that, the Newswire, and places all over the country shared the story. But she would never say who she was. Why? Well, I had somebody from Potlatch come and tell me why. She was the wife of the sheriff. And so that's a pretty cool incident. But a lot of people, they've had experiences themselves, but they just won't share it because they think people will think they're crazy. That's why you get a lot more testimony from the Native American people. The Native American people, in every Native American tribe, there is a word in their dialect for Bigfoot, because they all know it's true. I had the most amazing guy tell me in, I think, Incredible 3, the same guy that told me the death situation, the killed two people. He said way up in Bellacua, British Columbia, he did a trip up there, and some of the elders of the tribe there told him never go up in that valley there, because there was a time when the Bigfoot would come and kill and plunder and decimate our tribe, and a council of our elders went up to them and say, hey, why are you guys being so violent? And they said the Bigfoot could talk at that time, and the Bigfoot told them, it's because you guys are always coming and hunting and gathering berries and screwing around with our turf. And so they had, according to him, I don't know if this is true, you judge for yourself, but according to him, they arranged a convocation, like maybe in the early 1800s, where the elders prepared a feast, and they had the Bigfoot elders come on down to the feast, and they made an accord. You never come into our territory, and we'll quit messing with you. And from that day to this, they've never had any trouble with the Bigfoot, but still, they won't go up into that area to hunt or gather berries because they realize this truth. Now, I had a situation like that with a guy that I know really, really well named Jeff Shikora, who picked for me for years. He's a great fisherman. He caught a rainbow trout that's almost a state record down under the dam in Kukanusa. And Jeff and I are buddies from way back. And he said him and his brother were told by George Shaw, who's a household name in Huckleberry country because he invented the Shaw picker. My buddy Josh has one of those Shaw pickers. But George was just a famous Huckleberry picker. And George told my buddy Jeff, never go into this area. And I know where it is. And be honest, I'm tempted to go there and take a look-see. But Jeff and his brother were stalwart Montana mountain men. They decided to go pick in there anyway. And they said that when they did, they saw a bunch of Bigfoot huts, and two shadow forms came from the edge. These were some of the least tall Bigfoot I've ever heard of reports of. He said they were not that much over 6 feet, maybe 6'2", 6'4", but wide, like weighing like 600 pounds. They came out, two of them, and began chucking rocks at them that were this big around and about that, like great big frisbees. They began chucking these giant rocks at them. See, that's what happened in my experience that started all this, and I tell about that in Incredible Bigfoot 1. That is a common trait where Bigfoot will chuck rocks at people to get them out of their territory, or some people say they just mess with you that way. But sure enough, that is what happened. Jeff would not go on camera and say that, but he told me personally the story. And if you tell me a story personally, well, I might leak it because I like sharing information. So anyway, this was just my way of reflecting back over the journey to 1 million Bigfoot content views on YouTube. I hope that some of you were benefited by this, but it's also just my way of saying thank you for the awesome premiere and the great attendance that it had. Have a great day, and Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hey, a cool story on this mic. I bought it for my son Josiah. It's still technically his, so that we could have a studio and he could keep making his world-class music, which he needs to get going on again. And one summer I got my house broke into not once, but 3 times in a 5-week period of time. And one of the officers said, hey, there's great fingerprints on that mic case. So he took the case and analyzed it and everything, and the case was missing for almost 2 years during the criminal investigation. But the foolish robbers never took it. This is it's got a gold diaphragm. It's worth over $5,000. And they never took the mic. They just looked inside and thought, oh, probably couldn't sell that at a pawn shop. Let's keep robbing all other stuff. And they took computers and earbuds and stuff, but they left our mic. Have a great day and Merry Christmas.